Mars, that faint red dot in the night sky. For as long as we've been looking up, it's captured our imagination like nothing else. It feels so close, like a neighbor, but it holds this ultimate mystery. Are we actually alone? Let's dive into what our silent red neighbor might be trying to tell us. For decades, this was the question. It's what drove every probe, every rover, all of our scientific curiosity. It's a pretty straightforward question, right? And we've poured billions of dollars into trying to answer it. But what if we've been asking the wrong thing all along? You see, the more we learn about Mars, the more the evidence lets us completely reframe the conversation. We can actually move beyond a simple yes or no answer and start asking something way more profound, something that's really about us. And there it is. That's the real question. If a planet, right next door, had a real shot at life and then failed, what does that imply about the odds of finding intelligent life anywhere else? In this explainer, we're going to use Mars as a kind of cosmic case study, and frankly, the conclusion is, well, it's pretty sobering. Okay, first things first, we have to get one thing straight. The Mars we see today, cold, barren, covered in red dust, that is not the Mars that existed billions of years ago. It was a completely different world. And this isn't just a theory. It's what the data is screaming at us. Our orbiters have mapped out ancient river deltas from space. Our rovers are literally driving over rocks that were altered by water. The evidence is crystal clear. Early on, Mars had the entire starter kit for life. So, here's the bottom line. The opportunity was there. I mean, think about it. Here on Earth, life popped up almost as soon as the planet was cool enough for liquid water. If that's a common pattern, then it's a really good bet that early Mars had a genuine window for biology to get started. Which leads to the obvious, massive question. If the ingredients were there and the window was open, why is Mars so silent today? What on Mars happened to turn a potentially living world into a planetary fossil? And this brings us right to the heart of the argument. The story of Mars might not be about life failing to start, it might be about the planet itself failing to sustain that life over the immense timescales that are needed for it to really take hold and flourish. This one idea? This is pretty much the central theme of our whole story. Getting life started might just be a common chemical fluke that happens all over the universe. But keeping a planet stable for billions of years, well, that seems to be the real bottleneck. That's the grand prize. So, the key concept that really separates Earth from Mars is this thing we can call planetary margin. Think of it like a car's suspension system. How well can a planet handle the inevitable bumps and shocks of the cosmic road without completely falling apart? And this is exactly where Mars lost the race. It was just smaller, so its gravity was too weak to hang on to its atmosphere. Its smaller core cooled down way faster, which shut down the magnetic field that was protecting it from the harsh solar wind. Its volcanoes went silent, ending the planet's ability to recycle carbon. You see, Earth had redundancies, backup systems. Mars had none. Its margin for error was basically zero. Okay, so maybe some simple microbes had a brief little party on Mars. Fine. But what about, well, us? What about intelligence? This is where the list of requirements gets exponentially, almost ridiculously harder to meet. We have to completely ditch this idea we get from science fiction, that evolution is some kind of ladder, always climbing upwards towards intelligence. It's not. The evidence suggests intelligence is a total accident, a fluke that can only happen when a planet has a massive surplus of a couple of very precious resources. So here's the recipe. First, you need billions of years of stability. Not millions, billions. You need tons of consistent energy. You need a really complex ecosystem to drive competition and innovation. And maybe most important of all, you need all of this to run totally uninterrupted, without some catastrophe hitting the cosmic reset button. Mars never even got to page 1 of that recipe. Its habitable window was probably only a few 100 million years long. That's just an eye blink in cosmic terms. It's not that Martian life wasn't clever enough, it's that the planet itself pulled the plug before the experiment could even get remotely interesting. And this all leads us to the final and maybe the most profound part of this whole story. What does the fate of Mars really tell us about our own unique place in the cosmos? This is the lesson of Mars, boiled down to one sentence. The universe might be teeming with worlds where microbes once swam in ancient seas, but most of that life is probably long, long dead. The real challenge isn't birth, it's survival. Now, this is a huge shift in perspective. We tend to look at Mars as a failure, a planet that could have been Earth but messed it up. But this suggests we should see it the other way around. Mars is probably what's normal. Earth is the miracle. And what a haunting thought that is. A galaxy filled with planetary ghosts. Worlds where life sparked for a moment, only to be snuffed out by a cooling core or a thinning atmosphere or a dying magnetic field. Worlds that just never had enough of that planetary margin. And so, our search for life brings us to a new and much harder question. It's not just about finding microbes anymore. It's about finding worlds that somehow won the cosmic lottery, the ones that are granted the billions of years of uninterrupted stability needed for something like intelligence to accidentally emerge. Our silent neighbor gives us the most likely, and pretty chilling, answer. It's not a story about absence, but about timing. Mars reminds us that Earth's greatest gift isn't just its water or its air. It's the simple, unbelievable fact that it stayed stable long enough for us to be here, wondering about it all.